Define visual communication and explain its importance. Visual communication is a method of communication designed to share information by quickly viewing it or at a glance. This is accomplished by creating signs, display boards, and screens that organize the information into simple-to-read formats such as charts, color coding, and symbols. Research suggests that people can learn and retain information that is presented visually much better than when the information is presented verbally. This can make visual communication a powerful tool in improving productivity, safety, quality, on-time delivery, and employee morale within a company. Visual communication is used to quickly communicate many types of critical information on the plant floor, including quality data, production schedules, key process indicators, procedures, and safety. Visual communication also serves as an on-the-job teaching tool because it visually displays the specifications, process procedures, and other information required to perform the assigned task. Visual communication can also be designed into machinery to avoid mistakes in operation. For example, a visual display might track the number of welds made to each part by the welder to ensure that the proper number is being made each time. Define the concept of the visual workplace. A visual workplace is a work environment that uses visual communications to create a clear, clean, safe, and sustainable environment for workers. Sustainable means to maintain the system once it is in place. A visual workplace uses visual communication to ensure that what is supposed to happen does happen on time, every time. The visual workplace environment is self-serving, meaning that it includes the following concepts: self-ordering, self-explaining, self-regulating, and self-improving. The visual work environment is self-ordering with clear location information for tools and parts, and clear information flow for products and paperwork. A good example of self-ordering is a shadow board used for storing tools used in production. The visual systems are self-explaining and require no additional information to enable workers to do their jobs. For example, a chart that shows a production order and how many parts have been completed quickly explains to everyone how many parts are needed to complete the order. The visual workplace is self-regulating because it explains itself through the use of high-impact, low-cost visual devices. The use of quality charts showing how quality goes down, but then improves because the employees took action, is an example of a self-regulating system. A visual work environment is self-improving because the visual devices are constantly providing feedback on performance and performances of the company. This encourages the employees to find more ways to make improvements. An overall company product quality chart is a self-improving visual device. Describe the elements of a visual factory. A visual factory is a type of visual workplace where products are manufactured. Visual factories include many elements in each work area to aid each team in achieving and using the visual system. The visual factory starts with visual order using the 5S system. The 5S system establishes a clear, clean, safe, and organized workplace. The visual factory includes the following elements: visual team work area, visual documentation, visual indicators, visual production control, and visual quality control. The teamwork area in a visual factory is very neat and organized. It includes identification of the area and team members, activities, resources, and products produced. The area also includes physical marking of the area, inventory, tools, and spaces for information and communication. Typical documentation is not visual by nature. Visual documentation is specifically created to communicate information in an easy-to-understand manner. This may include a binder with manufacturing instructions and inspection procedures, or it may be laminated sheets placed on specific machines used in a process. Either way, it is always in the same place and available to all. The goal of the visual documentation is to help users commit fewer errors and need less assistance. Visual indicators are displays that show at a glance the progress of the work area. They take into account quality issues, breakdowns, and production runs, among other issues. They tell the team how they are performing. Visual production control combines visual indicators and physical methods of handling inventory. Inventories and work in process are located visually by specifically marking areas for the product so it can be tracked and identified. Another example of a visual production control is a Kanban system, which uses cards and bins to identify the status of work in process inventory. Visual quality control includes visual or audible monitors on machines, quality charts completed by the team members that are displayed on or near the equipment, and a record of quality problems encountered. All charts are available to everyone. Describe 4 types of visual devices and give an application of each. A visual device is a mechanism that is designed to influence, direct, limit, or control behavior. It does this by making information vital to the task at hand available at a glance. There are 4 types of visual devices: visual indicator, visual signal, visual control, and visual guarantee. Visual indicator, visual signal, visual control, and visual guarantee. The 4 types of visual devices are used to exert progressively more control over the process. The degree of the control depends on the extent to which the message is likely to be obeyed and the potential risk or loss if the message is ignored. The level of control a device exerts is called its power index and ranges from minor to moderate, major, and maximum. Visual indicators share information by displaying it. It is a passive device and has the lowest power index. With a visual indicator, compliance or adherence is voluntary, and negative consequences are minimal. Examples of visual indicators can be a department name sign, or an indicator that tells you to reorder something when it runs out. Visual signals are strategically located in a process to catch the attention and then deliver the message. They are passive devices and rank at a moderate level on the power index scale, 1 step higher than a visual indicator. Visual signals change to catch a person's attention, such as a sign that turns on and off or changes from red to green. The negative consequence of non-compliance can range from minimal to hazardous, such as running out of hydraulic fluid and damaging the equipment. Examples of visual signals can be operation lights on a machine, alarm buzzers indicating a machine fault, or a production board that displays the number of units that need to be produced to fill an order. Visual controls are items built into the physical environment to impact behavior. Visual controls move from optional to required behavior by a team member. This is where adherence begins to be built in. The rating for visual controls on the Power Index scale is higher than the rating for visual signals. Visual controls restrict choices with physical limits such as quantities, volume, number, and size. The negative consequence of non-compliance is reduction in visual order, meaning the visual order is not being maintained. Visual control applications include storage hooks that can hold a predetermined number of parts, areas marked with lines or paint specifically for inventory or equipment storage, or a shadow board used for tool storage. Visual guarantees are devices designed to make the process mistake-proof. They make sure that only the right thing can happen and prevent the wrong thing from happening. Visual guarantees have the highest Power Index rating of maximum. Visual guarantees are based on 100% source inspection. This may include a Poka-yoke system, which is a device that prevents the machine from making an error. These inspections can prevent a part that does not pass inspection from moving on in the production process. If visual guarantees are followed, then non-compliance is not possible. An example of a visual guarantee is performing quality checks on each part after it is manufactured. Another example is a grounded plug that will only fit one way into an outlet, thereby ensuring that it doesn't damage the electrical equipment. Describe guidelines for a visual facility or workplace is a facility that has implemented the 5S method of visual organization and has then incorporated visual devices into the workplace to maximize production, quality, and information flow. A visual facility typically includes components that ensure that the facility remains clean, orderly, safe, and productive. It shows that the company is working to sustain the visual implementation. Cleaning supplies. Cleaning supplies are kept in a clearly defined area and are used on a daily basis. Smooth flow of information. Work and information flow are smooth and have an easily identifiable flow path throughout the facility. Material handling flows smoothly without having detours around scrap, debris, or people. Clean floors. Floors are clean and free of oil, grease, and debris. They are cleaned at the end of each shift. Inventory. Inventory is kept in its home location, easily identified, and easily accessible. Clean machines. Machines are clean and painted. There is no oil, grime, or metal chips on them. They are wiped down after every shift and get regularly scheduled routine maintenance. Clearly defined signs. Walkways and work areas are clearly defined by signs and borders. All machines have borders that indicate where it is safe to walk. Work in process inventory. Work in process or WIP inventory is kept in its home location, easily identified and easily accessible. One feature of a visual facility is that it has item recoil, which means each object in the workplace will find its way back to its designated home location. The first step towards achieving item recoil is to determine a location for each item. When determining the best location, locate all items on a map of the area. This gives the workers an opportunity to evaluate and approve the new plan for production and information flow and make any adjustments. Setting the item location is the next step in achieving item recoil. Using the approved map of the area, items are placed in their designated locations. To ensure they remain in their location, visible borders are put in place around each item. There are many areas that are typically bordered. Traffic lanes. Unmovable floor items. Movable floor items. Walkways and workways. And work surface items. All traffic lanes should have a border. Mark off areas for heavy equipment such as forklifts and tow motors. This tells people when they are sharing a space with vehicles. Unmovable floor items should have a border. This includes heavy equipment, permanent shelving, and any items bolted to the floor. Ensure that the border traces around the boundary of the moving machine parts to indicate the safe zone around the machinery. Movable floor items should have borders. This may include pallets, containers, bins, boxes, carts, and forklifts. This indicates not only where the items are consistently stored, but where they should be stored when not in use, as in the case of the forklift. Walkways and workways should have borders. Placing borders for walkways ensures that people know where it is safe to walk. It will also prevent the area from being used as storage. The workway border indicates where work is to take place. Work surface items should each have a border. If multiple shifts use the same work area, each employee can create their own movable location template out of a cardboard or plexiglass for the work surface. Once areas are selected, the type of border must be selected. The selection of border color, style, and type depends on the purpose for which the area is used. Heavy traffic from forklifts and other machinery will cause damage and wear to tape and paint. Careful preparation, selection, and application will prevent having to repeat the border application too often. OSHA and ANSI have color reference guides that should be used for selecting border colors. Describe how to assign workplace item and location addresses. The last step of creating item recoil is to select location addresses and ID labels. The addresses work with the borders to ensure that everything has location and is easily identified. Each bordered location needs to have an address assigned to it to help identify where items go at the end of the shift or when they are not being used. The location address should share all of the information needed to locate or relocate an item with minimal effort. Part number, visual handle, work in process, department ID, and specific groups. Part numbers are always part of the address for production parts. For some applications, the part number may be all that is needed. When part numbers are long, or there are many similar-looking parts stored together, use word substitutes or visual handles, in addition to the part numbers, to reduce the chance for mix-ups. A visual handle can be a symbol, photo, drawing, or shadow profile. For WIP, it may help to identify the process step the work has just completed and the process it is waiting to go to next. This prevents mixing batches of WIP. Address the department with a department ID, which will aid visitors to the area to easily find each department. Sort items into progressively finer groups to make it easier to find parts. The addresses for these groups start with the major group, such as fasteners, and work down to specific parts, such as 3/8 inch by 2 inch lag bolt. Once the address of a location is determined, it should be labeled. The addressing labels should be bold and dark enough to read at a distance of 5 feet. They should be high contrast, such as bold black letters on a yellow or white background. Signs or labels may also be shadow board style that shows pictures or outlines of the items to be stored there. Affixing address labels to items is the last step in achieving item recoil. Each workplace item, both movable and non-movable, should have an identification label, including machinery, cabinets, hand tools, work instructions, and consumable supplies. The department ID should be included as part of the address to guarantee that the item gets back to the correct department. Use common names and visual handles in the ID labels where possible. Describe the elements of a visual workplace territory. A visual workplace territory is an area where specific jobs are performed by a specific group of people or a team. This is a space that the employees can treat as theirs. It should be clean, safe, and orderly to enable the team member to relax and focus on their work. A visual workplace territory is easily identified by signage above or by the work area. This includes visual indicators or signs that name the department and may describe specific parts worked on in that area. Team members are typically listed on area signage and may include photos of those individuals, along with their shifts and days requested off. The employee schedule aids in production scheduling and planning. The visual workplace territory is organized in such a manner that the flow of the process is structured for maximum efficiency. All items within the territory are marked with borders and labels to identify each item and its home location. Tools and other items needed to perform the job each have a location and are readily available. Raw inventory and work-in-process inventory are kept close at hand in their home locations and easily identified. In a visual territory, a bulletin board is often used for communications, information, and instructions. It may show at a glance activities, team and equipment resources, and products planned for production. Other methods of communication can include binders, instructions on equipment, or procedures mounted at workstations. A bulletin board can be used to post information such as orders, production counts, quality, maintenance schedules, and team information in easily accessed areas and made visible at a glance. This makes production and machine information readily available to the team members. It is important to keep this area up to date and to remove old information when it is obsolete. Describe the elements of a visual safety system. Visual systems include safety elements. In addition to the borders that tell employees where it is safe to walk and labeling of hazardous materials, visual systems are used to make it fast and easy to find safety equipment. First aid. Eye wash and first aid stations may be located in front of an area painted green and have a sign located over them to make them easy to find. Fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers and their storage area will be painted red and may have a big red circle around them or bold signage over them to indicate their location. Material hazards. Dangerous areas, such as those that use radiation in their processes, will be painted magenta or yellow to indicate the unsafe area. Emergency stop buttons. Emergency stop buttons or bars on machines are red, so they are easily identifiable in the event of an emergency. Walking hazards. Areas that may cause stumbling or tripping hazards are marked with yellow or yellow-black markings to call attention to the hazard. Describe the elements of a visual. Machine maintenance systems often use visual information to reduce downtime by making it faster for a maintenance person to determine what action to take and ensure that the action is correctly taken. Color coding. Color coding and labels on overhead conduit, piping, valves, and venting reduce troubleshooting and repair time and improve safety of plant personnel. ID labels. ID labels on replacement part numbers for machine parts help maintenance technicians quickly obtain the correct part for a repair. Signs. Signs located on the machine can tell the operators of things to watch for, small maintenance chores they need to perform, and troubleshooting tips. This lets the operators perform small maintenance chores such as tightening bolts or checking oil levels. Labels. Labels that indicate the direction of rotation on drives, belts, chains, and motors help maintenance workers when troubleshooting equipment. Schedules. Schedules. Maintenance schedules can be posted on the wall of a work area, letting everyone know when maintenance on each machine is scheduled, as well as what maintenance will be performed. This helps them. Checklist. Maintenance checklists can include drawings or photos of the machines with specific areas noted for extra information, such as lubrication fill points and frequencies. This information helps maintenance perform their tasks more quickly and efficiently. Describe the elements of a visual office system. Visual order in non-production or office areas is just as important as on the shop floor. It can increase workflow, decrease lead times, and make the environment a much more pleasant place to work. Visual office organization. Visual office procedures. Visual office addresses and labels. Visual office borders. And visual office employee address. Visual office systems are clean, uncluttered, and safe. Work areas may be organized by cross-functional work groups to improve communication. Office department procedures are accessible to all employees, typically contained in binders. The binders may be labeled with their location addresses, or they may be marked in a manner that makes their home location obvious, such as having a diagonal stripe that goes across all binders on a shelf. Like in the visual factory, items have locations, addresses, and labels. This aids in locating items and in item recoil. Color-coded binders are often used to contain and organize paperwork. Because office areas are normally safe work areas, external borders are typically not needed. Instead, internal borders are in cabinets, on desks, and in closets. Each office employee must have a visible, accurate, and complete address. This includes the name, department, and possibly their responsibilities, extension number, and picture. Describe. Visual documentation is a visual presentation of knowledge. It provides information and promotes the idea of sharing information with everyone. Any information that may allow a clearer understanding of the work can be relevant documentation. Determining what information should be displayed should start with asking the organization what employees need to know to do their jobs, and what information they need to share with their teammates. Team members often choose to visually display the methods and organization of the work area. This provides temporary or new employees with the information needed to perform their jobs. It also provides team members with current production information. There are several types of visual documentation and may include the following components: manufacturing tolerances and instructions, time studies and planning schedules, inspection instructions, quality information, and miscellaneous items. Manufacturing tolerances and instructions for various procedures are usually required. This may include engineering prints and documents for non-production related procedures. By keeping this information in the specific work area, it aids all team members and any visitors to the area. Often these items will be located in an easily identified binder. Time studies and planning schedules are good information to have available. By knowing how much time part production takes, the team knows how long each planned production order will take to manufacture. Self-inspection instructions aid workers in inspecting parts before they are sent to the next step in the process, allowing the workers to reject parts that do not pass inspection from the process. Quality recommendations and information concerning critical points in the production process allow workers to share their knowledge with the other team members on all shifts. This helps to increase the quality of the product and reduce rejects. Other items that may be displayed are safety and health issues, procedures, and rules of the facility. Information on the resources and technology in the area may be desirable to display. This information may be in binders, attached to the equipment, or posted on a bulletin board located near the operators. Operating instructions, tool replacement instructions, equipment maintenance procedures, equipment monitoring, and general charts. The operating instructions for equipment should be readily available in the event that someone unfamiliar with the area steps in to help out. It also aids in training new employees. These may be located in a binder or on the machine itself. Instructions on how to replace and adjust tools is important to someone who rarely performs this task. This is often located in a binder near the machine or posted on the machine itself. Procedures on how to maintain or troubleshoot equipment could prove invaluable to getting the machine up and running with minimal downtime. If this information is not used often, it may be in a binder. However, if it is used often, it will typically be located on the machine. Monitoring of how well equipment is keeping to tolerances can give maintenance technicians an idea of when a machine needs service. This information is typically on a clipboard, bulletin board, or posted on the machine itself. Other items that may be displayed are material or production flowcharts and a plant layout. These will typically be located on the general team bulletin board for ease of access. Product and material information can be vital to production. Most of this information should be displayed in an easily accessible area, such as a bulletin board or at the workstation. Product specifications, required materials, defect identification, and packaging requirements. Product specifications can tell the employees how to produce a quality part. This may include standard work documents and engineering drawings. Required materials, parts list, and components give the employees the information required to assemble the product. The location of each of these components should also be included. Identification of common defects in parts or materials tell the workers what to look for when handling parts. This will reduce the number of defective parts moving on in the production process. Packaging requirements may also be useful if the products are shipped out of the plant or if they need to be packed in a specific way before being transported to the next department. Describe the guidelines of visual documentation. Developing visual documentation should include thinking through what is to be presented and to whom. The documentation should be clear and written toward the intended audience. but everyone should be able to understand it. The goal of visual documentation is to help users commit fewer errors and need less assistance. When developing visual documentation, discuss the information with the people for which it is planned. This will aid in determining the best method of delivering the correct information. The use of images where appropriate can provide clear, simple, but specific information. Place the information where it will be seen and used, not on a shelf or in a closet out of sight. Describe the elements of a visual production control system. Visual production control uses visual devices to control the production process. It involves everyone in the production process and may contain several different elements. Visual production control provides workers with access to planning, implementation, and coordination information for the production process. This method of production control is controlled by visibility. Some of the elements included in visual production control include visual control triangle, Kanban systems, visual production displays, visual scheduling displays, and visual quality displays. A successful visual production control system contains certain key characteristics that are illustrated by a concept called the visual control triangle. The visual triangle consists of three fundamental rules for a visual production control system: knowing the information, seeing as a group, and acting as a group. Knowing the information about the production system as a group is critical. It includes the whole group knowing delivery commitments, goals, schedules, and management rules. With this information, anyone can determine the number of unfilled orders or how many parts have to be made per day to complete an order on time. Visual production control displays are organized on a priority basis so that delays are immediately visible. A second element of visual control is seeing as a group. Visual systems should be designed so that everyone sees delays, early completions, inventory levels, and availability of machines. Two of the goals of visual production control systems are to prevent downstream production delays and to reduce the amount of work in process. Acting as a group is the third element of visual control. This means that the visual production control system includes an agreement by all team members on rules, objectives, and participation in improvement. With visual production control, everyone can see exactly how the system operates, and they participate in daily discussions related to production decisions. Kanban is a visual queuing system designed to simplify production scheduling and eliminate excess inventory. The process utilizes a card system to simplify the control and improve the flow of production by using visual cues to signal the workers when a product is ready to move from one station to the next. Production displays are visual displays that keep everyone informed on the process of production orders. This includes orders not yet started, orders in progress, orders that are late, and orders that are completed. Additional information that may be included are delays in starting orders, delays in completing the cycles, and material shortages. Describe. Like the other visual devices, visual scheduling provides employees with up-to-date information they need to produce the product when required. To communicate this information, a company should display the production count required and the number of units actually produced, instead of just communicating when the order must be completed. Messages must be as clear as possible, and colors should be used effectively. Figures should stand out. Charts showing required and completed quantities should be posted in the team's territory. These charts should be visible to everyone, not just the workers in the area. The layout of the chart should be predetermined with columns, titles, and boxes. The employees should participate in designing the layout. They are more likely to use it if they consider it theirs. The team should enter their own figures on the charts. This makes the information more relevant for the team members. Describe the elements of a visual quality system. Visual quality systems are a group of devices as well as a mindset by the employees that aids in improving the quality of the product. Visual quality includes 4 elements: visual observation, quality displays, and defect location diagrams. Visual observation is the responsibility of everyone. The worker who hears a machine making a strange sound or notices parts suddenly exceeding tolerances raises the alarm. The employee takes an active role in noticing when things are not correct and initiating steps to correct them. Quality displays indicate the standards for the work area and enable the employees to recognize when the standards are not being met, so action can be taken. These displays are visible to any who pass and may take whatever form works for the team. An and-on is a notification system that alerts everyone in an area of a quality or production problem. The operator and everyone else around is notified that something is wrong when the system is activated. And-on systems can include lights that change colors or rotate, buzzers or alarms, and signboards that indicate which station has the problem. And-on systems can be activated automatically by the machines, manually by the operators, or both. Defect location diagrams are photos or diagrams of the product produced in the area marked with the most common defect locations. This alerts the workers to look at these areas more closely. Describe guidelines for a selection of visual production indicators. Visual production indicators should be used as opportunities to motivate employees and should be considered tools for production teams. Two types of production indicators are results indicators and process indicators. Results indicators display output levels for a department or work area. These can be production results, quality results, maintenance results, or other results the team feels should be recorded. Results indicators are intended primarily for control. Process indicators display how the area performs to attain the results. These can include the number of machine malfunctions, quality rejections, quality levels for raw material, and average volumes of work in process. Process indicators are intended to allow self-control and self-improvement. Describe guidelines for a selection of visual indicator units of measurement. The units of measurement selected for visual indicators should be made highly relevant for employees because the information is being delivered to them to help them improve production. The units used to calculate the information may be easy for the plant engineers or managers to understand, but the information should be displayed in an easy-to-interpret manner so everyone can understand it. A good choice of the units of measurement of visual information can make it much easier for workers to interpret the results. For example, displaying the defect rate as 5,000 parts per million clearly indicates to the workforce that defects are a problem. Displaying the same defect rate as 0.5% may make the workforce think that quality is good. To help workers save time, computations used in the displays are automated or simplified. Sometimes the approximate result is as effective for interpretation as a specific result. For example, the time it takes to change the tools in the work area for a different product does not have to be measured in seconds. Measuring it in 5 or 10-minute intervals still delivers the same trend information, but requires less time and effort by those doing the measuring. Describe the elements of a visual observation system. Visual observation involves empowering the employees to act on what they observe. If they are given the responsibility to observe, then they must be given the responsibility to seek progress. Visual observation includes 4 elements: displaying standards, response systems, recording problems, and seeing beyond. Displaying standards enables an observer to understand the condition of the operating systems, including machines, products, and the positioning of items. These displays aid the observer to recognize problems when they occur and react if necessary. Response systems allow prompt response to prevent a problem from continuing. They encourage keeping messages concerning problems close at hand, so information is not lost and more people can respond. They also are a means of keeping all employees informed about events occurring in the workplace. Recording problems for analysis aids in reducing overall defects and improving quality. This may include a chart near the assembly line or a binder to track defects by department. A large, visible chart is preferable because it brings the problem to everyone's attention. Seeing beyond means to observe the current environment and interpreting or understanding beyond that environment. This may involve communication to vendors and suppliers outside of the facility. It enables the process to continue to improve. Describe types of visual displays. Visual displays can include many standard as well as innovative styles. The style of display is generally customized for the information and the audience. Some types of visual displays include signboards, charts, signs over work area, temporary signage, drawings or photocopies, and tool stencils. Signboards, such as whiteboards or bulletin boards, are used to display often changing information. This may be daily quality measurements, production schedules, and maintenance schedules. Charts can keep track of information such as quality, productivity, maintenance, or units shipped. These are formatted so the team can keep them up to date. They can be put on paper, magnetic boards, whiteboards, or a flat-screen electronic monitor. Signs over the work area indicate the department and what is produced there. Some companies allow the department team members to develop these to increase team member participation. Temporary signage may take the form of ropes with printed signs or sheets of plastic with information that indicate why the material or components are stored where they are. This type of signage is often used for WIP inventory. Drawings or photocopies of tools or parts are used in the home address locations to reduce identification errors. This reduces the errors when pulling inventory for production or choosing the right tool for the job. This also aids in item recoil for tooling and fixtures used in production or maintenance. Tools can be stenciled with their home address using paint. This makes sure the address label stays with the tool and increases the chance the item will recoil to its home location. Describe guide. Visual displays have to be noticed or they will not work. The guidelines to use to ensure successful visual displays include the following. Plan carefully. Make displays noticeable. Use graphics. Display relevant information. Use self-sufficient displays. Use clear messages. Employee participation. And reusable items. Plan the layout carefully and use a system that is quick and easy for the team to update when necessary. Make displays bold and dark enough to read from 5 feet away. Use graphics or visual handles such as photos, drawings, or shadow boards where applicable. Display information that is meaningful to the team members in the area, as well as others who may pass the area. Make the display self-sufficient so that no other information is required to understand the message. Messages should be as clear as possible and colors should be used effectively. Employees should participate in designing the displays. This will encourage the team's participation. Use reusable items where possible, such as color magnets, to reduce the amount of time spent updating the display. Describe how to select a location for a visual display. The location of the visual display is as important as the display itself. If it cannot be easily seen and accessed, it will be ignored. The guidelines to use to ensure successful location of visual displays include the following. Easy accessibility. Relevant placement. Consider different options. And department ID signs. If the display is to be updated by the employees, they should be able to reach it easily. Otherwise, they will not update it on a regular basis. Place the display where it is to be used, such as near the machines or in the work area that it concerns. If the information pertains to the whole facility, create a clean and marked central location for displaying information. If wall space is not an option, consider other options, such as a 3- or 4-sided display with posting areas on all sides. Another option is to hang panels from the ceiling. Department ID signs should be hung from the ceiling or placed at the entrance to the work area so that they are easily seen by any who pass. Describe the steps to create a visual workplace. Achieving a visual workplace involves step-by-step methodology that progresses through a number of stages. It is important to complete one stage before moving on to the next. Most companies start with 1 or 2 departments, move through all of the stages, and achieve a visual workplace in those areas before proceeding to other departments. The stages of implementing the visual workplace include: Stage 1. Implement visual order. Stage 2. Target standards. Stage 3. Eliminate errors. Stage 1 of implementing the visual workplace is to implement visual order through the 5S method, which produces a clear, clean, safe, and orderly work area. This is the basis for achieving and maintaining a visual workplace. Sort out clutter, toss what is no longer needed, and organize what is left. Scrub the workplace by cleaning everything including workbenches, machines, floors, and tools. This will probably also include painting machines, floors, work areas, etc. Secure safety through visual order. Workers will notice more safety hazards because the clutter is removed and the area is clear. Select locations for essential workplace items, which includes smart placement. This means aligning shop floor items with the physical flow of work to speed up the flow. Set locations, implement borders, and add addressing information. Stage 2 of implementing the visual workplace is to increase adherence to standards. This can be done by sharing standards with the workforce through charts or other visual displays. Start by concentrating on weak standards and keeping track of them. Build the new standards directly into the workplace. This may include more regular inspection. Track improvements to the standards visually through the use of a scoreboard or other visual device. In the last stage of implementing the visual workplace, eliminate errors through visual guarantees. Aim to eliminate all irregularities in adherence by removing the option of compliance. This stage is where error proofing or mistake proofing, also known as poka-yoke systems, is used. Use 100% source inspection to detect defects and prevent those defects from moving further into the production process. This will probably include a poka-yoke system to check parts at the source. Detect and eliminate errors in the processes, quality, and in communication. Ensure that only the right thing can happen. Describe how to sustain a visual workplace. Once the visual workplace has been created, it requires monitoring and active participation to sustain it. Failing to support the process will cause the system to fail and return it to the non-visual workplace. There are 9 tools used to maintain the visual workplace. Using these tools, companies are able to maintain a visual workplace that helps make their organization highly effective. Maintain the standards of behavior that spell out the values and practices needed to sustain the visual workplace. Maintain the supplies the individuals and teams need to rapidly create their own visual solutions. Maintain a list of specific tasks that team members agree need to be done regularly to sustain the visual workplace. Maintain a small rotating team of area workers charged with applying the checklists in their area and sharing the results. Maintain a group of area volunteers charged with coordinating, monitoring, and leading the visual workplace implementation. Maintain a cluster of visual devices that work together to promote specific performance outcomes. Assign a person responsible for providing administrative and logistical support to the implementation and coordinating its various activities. Assign a manager or executive with high credibility to visibly support the visual workplace and provide regular top management feedback, supporting it if necessary. Schedule regular tours by that manager or executive through the visual workplace to visibly and concretely recognize and influence the effort.